Now, we've already done a first look at this, the Xpeng G9. Today, we're here to give it a test drive. I'm Will, that's the Xpeng G9, and this is China Driven.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
So a quick recap of the Xpeng G9 all-wheel drive performance. Its exterior styling draws heavily from the popular P7 Xpeng Sport sedan, with a step up in terms of interior quality and materials, making this Xpeng's best interior yet. Sporting dual 14.9-inch touchscreens and 4-zone voice control. Remember the Napa leather seat design that is inspired by the Canton Tower? Here's a shot of the G9 and the Canton Tower in the background. Poetic. The G9's platform can also support 800-volt fast charging, resulting in 200 kilometers of range in 5 minutes. New for the G9, Xpeng's new X Opera, which combines a Dolby Atmos spatial audio with in-seat audio units that send vibrations to the driver and passenger as they listen to music or watch a movie, trying to create a more immersive experience. Strictly a 5-seater, the Xpeng G9 boasts loads of rear legroom and a boot big enough to take up to 4 golf club bags, if that's your thing. Road manners of the Xpeng G9 and City are decent. Pickup is quick in any mode being an EV, although obviously Sport and Boost mode offer more power and acceleration away from the line. Braking switches seamlessly and smoothly from brake regen to physical braking, although at times the ABS can be a bit eager when braking a little harder. The pedal feel and steering input is very similar to the P7, with the accelerator being on the lighter side of things. In sportier modes, the steering weight increases, but when bobbing in and out of traffic in the city, the lighter steering makes life a lot easier.
So driving around town, obviously it's comfortable with the air suspension. I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to drive the rear-wheel drive version, the kind of entry model, to see how comfortable it is around town on roads like this without that air suspension, because I think that is going to be a very popular model, especially with an LFP battery.
Overall visibility is good, the 360-degree camera flicking on when it senses things close to the car. All in all, the urban driving is effortless even in heavy traffic situations. We escaped the city centre traffic and cruised about on some open urban roads. The G9 definitely looks good on road. It oozes sportiness even whilst cruising, turning quite a few heads and garnering plenty of attention whenever we stopped. The Xpeng G9 all-wheel drive performance is a very quick car, but the way it delivers its power and acceleration isn't as outright brutal as some other EVs. The instant torque from a standstill is still enough to throw your head back, but the acceleration comes on full tilt after you're underway. Once moving, there's a quick bit of tyre school before it hooks up and blasts off. The driving dynamics of the Xpeng G9 all-wheel drive performance definitely sets it apart from its other EV SUV competition. It may have been benchmarked against the Porsche Cayenne, but in my opinion it doesn't beat it.
Okay, so we're driving in the Xpeng G9 all-wheel drive performance model, and we're on the highway and we're heading to Maofeng Mountain in order to kind of drive some mountain roads and get a feeling for what it is able to do. Now, as you would expect on the motorway, this is extremely comfortable. This all-wheel drive performance model comes with air suspension as standard, and it does a really good job of keeping it comfortable and kind of keeping out any thumps and bumps from getting into the cabin. So these cars are currently pre-production cars, so this car doesn't actually have NGP, so I can't test it out. However, they are supposedly coming with everything that is currently available on the P5, which would be X-Pilot 3.5.
However, when the Xpeng G9 arrives in customer hands, XNGP will be available. The Xpeng G9 ADAS suite is leveraging dual NVIDIA Orin X chips with a combined 508 TOPS, being fed information from 31 different sensors, including 12 cameras, 5mm wave radars, 12 ultrasonic radars, and in higher trim levels, 2 additional bumper-mounted LiDAR units. Xpeng's NGP has been available since the P7, with the P5 being the first model to integrate LiDAR. At some point, we should see the XNGP city steer in the G9. It's currently being rolled out to Xpeng P5 beta testers in Guangzhou right now. Exciting stuff.
Okay, so we are nearly at Maofeng Mountain, where we're going to go up some mountain roads and see what the Xpeng G9 performance can do.
Hitting the mountain road, it was quickly apparent that the Xpeng G9 was very competent for a vehicle of its size.
So we're in boost mode, which is kind of Sport Plus, but there is another mode in here called tuning mode. And what tuning mode allows you to do is change all the usual settings you would think, kind of suspension stiffness, the air suspension height, the steering weight. But what it will also allow you to do is actually to change the distribution of the torque from 100% front wheel to 100% rear wheel. Now this thing will actually allow you to kind of let the back go a little bit. Now the ESP does kick in pretty quickly, but you may be able to slacken that off in the tuning section. Now it is heavy, obviously, it's an EV, it is heavy through the corners. You do feel that, but it is able to do pretty well.
Its handling during spirited driving is decent for a heavy high-riding SUV. It's probably the defining feature of the G9 compared to its competitors. How much of that driving engagement and dynamics are retained by the rear-wheel drive model, we'll have to wait and see.
So just driven the Xpeng G9 all-wheel drive performance up and down the mountain here in Malfeng Mountain, and I gotta say it is a definitely sporty ride. Now obviously it's an SUV, obviously it weighs a lot, and you can definitely feel that as you're going into the corners. However, as you are exiting the corners, if you do give it a dab of acceleration, the back end will start to kick out. Now, you can play around with the tuning settings and slacken off the ESP, but seeming it's not my car, I thought it was better to leave it on. With 405 kilowatts and 717 newton meters of torque, the G9 all-wheel drive performance definitely gets a move on. How fast it is 0 to 100, well, Xpeng still won't tell us. We'll have to wait until its launch event on the 21st.
Since recording, Xpeng has launched the G9. We now know that the G9 all-wheel drive performance accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.9 seconds. Pretty swift for a large SUV. Pricing in China ranges from $43,500 for the LFP rear-wheel drive base version to $59,000 for the top-of-the-line all-wheel drive performance, not including the first edition model. If you're in the market for a stylish, large 5-seat SUV with sporty driving dynamics, the Xpeng G9 all-wheel drive is definitely worth checking out. Xpeng is bringing their most premium product to market yet with the G9. The rear-wheel drive models give customers the opportunity to jump into the best Xpeng interior without the outright performance and with a lower price point. I expect the rear-wheel drive models to be the bulk seller for Xpeng. Now, the Xpeng G9 all-wheel drive performance definitely elevates the brand, but with that added performance and standard features, it puts its price in pretty stiff competition with other competitors. Can its sporty driving dynamics and improved luxury interior entice buyers? What do you think?
Okay, so that's it for today. Had a great time driving the Xpeng G9 Performance. Had a great time here at Malfeng Mountain. I'm Will, that's the G9, and this is China Driven.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.